Stop buying odometers, start buying maintenance history. People are making terrible decisions in the used bike market, all because of a number on a screen. Look at this number: 150,048 miles, or 241,500 kilometers. In the used superbike market, this is where the conversation ends. According to the internet experts, this machine should have turned into a pile of scrap metal years ago. There's a massive myth in the motorcycle community that once a high-performance engine hits 40,000 kilometers, it becomes a ticking time bomb. And this is absolute nonsense. In this video, we're killing the mileage obsession. Mileage isn't a measure of wear, it's a measure of distance. Maintenance is a true measure of wear. Now compare that to a low mileage 10,000 kilometer bike owned by someone who did nothing other than rev bombs in a parking lot and practice wheelies for 3 weeks straight. Engines are designed to run for a long time if you respect the physics. Metal-on-metal contact doesn't care about long distance. It cares about lubrication and thermal breakdown. Here's a fact: I'd rather buy a 40,000 kilometer machine from an older, mature rider, someone who changed the oil every 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers or 12 months, whichever came first. Use name brand oil and filter, preferably OEM. Factory air filter over some aftermarket high-performance filter that produces more power but doesn't filter all the particles that could potentially harm the engine. And one of the most important, had the valves adjusted by a reputable mechanic. If you think that 40,000 kilometers is the limit, think again. Take this Honda Goldwing, owned by Alan Zart, hit 1.6 million kilometers on a 1975 GL 1000. Yes, the engine was rebuilt 3 times, but that's an average of 530,000 kilometers per build. Phil Steiner has a 2015 Honda Goldwing with 1.2 million kilometers. That's right, 1.2 million kilometers, and it's the original engine. I know these are slow touring bikes, but high mileage isn't just for cruisers. Consider a 1999 Yamaha R1 with a documented 160,000 kilometers, or a 2004 Honda CBR 600 F4i that reached 480,000 kilometers. Owned by Jared Wickland, a 600cc engine that spent its life traveling across the USA and even seeing track use. And Bruce Smart, known as Teapot One, took his GSXR 1000 around the world, and that bike has over 160,000 kilometers on it, recently passing a UK MOT safety test with flying colors. Another fact: a bike that sits for years as a garage queen develops dry seals, varnished fuel, and moisture buildup in the crankcase. By contrast, a high mileage bike that's been cared for, with fluid circulating, hydrated gaskets, and battery maintained is infinitely better than a low mileage flower pot that's been abused. Take my 1994 ZX7 Ninja. I ran that 750 engine all the way up to just over 50,000 kilometers. And then I swapped it with the ZX9R engine, and I ran that for another 130,000 kilometers. So how did I get these engines to last as long as I did? Well, simple. I followed the exact rules I'm about to tell you. For the street, I use high quality oil and OEM filters. OEM filters are designed for that once-a-year service cycle, and they do the job properly. On the track, I use the same oil, but I switched to racing filters. They handle higher heat and higher flow demands. What I never touched was Amazon or eBay specials. Using those is how you turn a perfectly healthy engine into scrap metal. And here's the part that nobody wants to admit. I'd bet 95% of riders never change their brake fluid or coolant. Brake fluid is hygroscopic. It absorbs moisture, and that moisture corrodes components from the inside out. Leave it long enough and you're damaging your braking system without even knowing it. And the coolant is just as bad when neglected. Over time, it breaks down, the pH shifts, and it becomes acidic. That acid slowly eats away at aluminum components, like the cylinder head. When I was tracking my street bike, the ZX7, I never ran antifreeze, only distilled water with additives like water wetter. All track organizations ban glycol-based coolant because if it spills, it's extremely slippery. Also, water transfers heat more efficiently, but it provides zero corrosion protection. On a street bike, the coolant should be flushed between 2 to 5 years, and 5 years is pushing it. Suspension is another one riders ignore. When I tracked my bike, my front forks and shocks were rebuilt at least once a year. For the street, The forks and shocks need to be rebuilt every 20 to 30,000 kilometers. And there's a reason for it. Old fork oil loses viscosity, which reduces damping and allows metal particles to circulate inside the forks. Those particles come from normal internal wear. All internal surfaces shed microscopic metal over time. That contamination increases wear. The dangerous part is most riders don't notice it's happening because the performance degrades slowly until one day you hit a bump, the forks bottom out, and now you're dealing with damaged suspension or even a bent wheel. Now, there's one thing we need to keep in mind. Not all bikes are created equal. Some bikes are built to be ridden hard, and the environment they live in will dictate how long the engine will last. Take a dirt bike, for example. Even with the rider being on top of maintenance, a rider out there in the bush isn't cruising. They're in the throttle constantly, keeping the engine in the high RPM range just to get through the terrain. That kind of sustained load means the lifespan of a dirt bike engine is never going to match a street bike that spends most of its life at a steady throttle. Then you have the cooling factor. Generally speaking, air-cooled engines don't last as long as its liquid-cooled counterpart. Without a radiator and thermostat, the constant expansion and contraction accelerates wear on internal components. But one of the biggest myths is that smaller displacement engines last longer. They don't. They often have to work harder. Think about a Ninja 250R doing highway commuting. To keep up with traffic, that engine is sitting at 8 to 10,000 RPM for long stretches. That's a lot of stress on a small engine. Now compare that to a 1-liter bike cruising at the same speed. It's barely working and sitting at half the RPM. So it's not just about mileage. It's how the mileage was accumulated. High RPM, constant load, poor cooling, and aggressive riding will wear an engine out faster than smooth, well-managed miles with proper maintenance. Now, with all that said, it's always smart to do all your research before buying a used motorcycle. There have been a lot of recalls lately. Ask the owner if there were any recalls on that specific bike and if they were completed. What I would do is provide the VIN number to your local dealer. It doesn't matter how well the bike was maintained. An open recall on an older machine that hasn't been addressed is still a problem. Some manufacturers keep recalls open for decades, while others don't. The next time you're scrolling through a listing and you see that number, 30, 60, 100,000 kilometers, stop. Because that number doesn't tell you the story. The service history does. And that's what determines the value of a used motorcycle. A high mileage motorcycle that's been cared for isn't something to avoid. It's something to look for. Because in the real world, machines don't fail because they're being used. They fail because they're being neglected. Stop buying odometers and start buying maintenance history. And in the next video, I'm going to go through exactly what you need to do or to look for when looking for a used motorcycle. I hope you tune in for that one. And that wraps up this video. I hope you found it helpful and maybe even a bit entertaining. If you did, feel free to hit the like, share, and subscribe. And if you didn't enjoy it, a thumbs down works just fine. And remember, always hug your pets. Until next time, take care.